There is no right or wrong answer when you creating a business. Let's get down to the, the need and gritty. Let's get down to it. So from my point of view, time is time is the essence of your virtue and purpose. When I say that, the only thing that's holding you back from understanding what you want to do in life is knowing what you want to do and becoming that person. This is it sounds simple, but it sounds like it's a lot, but I promise you, it's simple as reading a book, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. A master service agency contains, brokers, operating systems, and key points in leveraging business funding and getting to where you want to go. But it wouldn't be nothing if I didn't know who I was as a person. And it took me a minute to get here. Everybody has trials and errors. But I'm really focused on the procurement behind getting to a higher point of self. You wanna you wanna know that everything isn't always in their hands. Everything isn't made for you to do. Every position isn't made for you to fill. Everybody has a role in business, and a lot of a good way to see that is to go back into the Bible, and a lot of other cultural traditions like Taoism and you know, yes, Catholics. It's a lot of systems that are just built on being the best person you can be, and once you realize that, you'll figure out that it's really just about placement and opportunity. So I'm here to talk about what Fantasy West provides and what my service actually is. So as a broker, I feel like operating with low cost is so timeful and meaningful that you want to go back into the education of the business and how it was established, the founders, the core clients that you even grabbed. Who are your first Who are your first customers? How did you attend to those people, and what did they like? So me saying that, I can go back into a testimonial where I went to a fashion show, and this was a public event, and they wanted me to appear there. So me going to that fashion show not only gave me the leverage to share my story, but to also share my products their to their to their space. I want to show y'all how important space is. So having that mentality of growth and opportunity, you get the chance to meet with people that are like minded, but not where you are, but where you want to be at. So I met a lady by the name of Jess who owned a fashion boutique, and she actually been very helpful along with what's going on in her life. Being a entrepreneur and a mentor at the same time is a lot when you have a personal family, and that's what implements and what makes you want to grow even more. I feel like people take teamwork for granted, but at the end of the day, like that'll be the one thing that saves you, a stranger. So that's where we're at today, and being one of the probably one of the most premeditated people you'll see. I see that it's a lot of procurement that's already done, procedures that's already put in place for people to not even want to be there and not even need to be there. That's why we have AI. That's why we have the insights of having other business owners and skilled people come in and actually put their skills to use, because once you do that, then you implement the need to delegate, to get that checklist cleared as fast as you can. And I'm really here to say that adaptation is the most. When you think about adaptation, you think about birds traveling, and this this system has been in place for so long, we can't even fathom how long they've been traveling, And I just want to say that to say that, if it works already, why change it? You know? So go ahead and figure out what parts of your business needs to grow, and you know, comment down below what you think you need done, and we can definitely get that situated between figuring out the apps that'll need to be produced, or figuring out what apps you could use already to implement the best work workforce or pipeline that you need instilled. I feel like a lot of people stress growth because it don't actually apply to them when you actually thinking on it. But truthfully, you're growing with every step you take. I feel like a lot of investors need to realize that in the early stage of forming a business, you actually have the choice to either go with A and B testing and figuring out your route yourself, or you either look upon somebody else who may think that they're doing what you want to do, but the whole time you're thinking that they're only dibbling and dabbling into it, or they're only recording it just so other people can be inspired by it. So this is why nonprofits come together, and this is why I call it nonprofit missions. When we're striving to build a legacy for yourself, or build a foundation under what you've already built, which could be a list of engagers, clients from clients from in-law companies, like companies that you grasped, been around for a long time, family-owned companies. These are all ways that you could grow and implement yourself in a trusting value way. I feel like the value and the worthiness in what you actually have to offer is overseen by what the competitors, how long the competitors doing it, or what have they scaled already. But I'm here to tell y'all that one of my first clients actually made 100K, like, as a creative director, and I didn't plan or execute to the fullest that I could have, but I implemented as well as I could. And doing that, that client, he reached his goals, like I was saying. And if you want to do the same, I suggest you figure out what time and place God has in store for you, and figure out why those lanes haven't opened. It's Woo, and I'm here to tell y'all that if I can do it, you can do it.